The top stories. Police search for bank robber. Owen Arthur chides BLP for missing house debate on hanging. And West Indies lose a World Cup trump card. Welcome to Nation News for Tuesday, January the 27th, 2015.
No matter where you are in the world, at home or abroad, Nation News keeps you connected with what's happening in Barbados through our website, video newscast, and online e-papers. So stay connected with Nation News. Your news, your time, your way.
First, to begin with news that the mandatory death penalty for murder is finally being abolished in Barbados. The promised abandonment is being debated in the House of Assembly, though capital punishment will remain on the statute books. The only change is that judges will no longer have to impose hanging automatically for murder, but can take account of mitigating circumstances in each case. Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite, who is piloting the abolition in the House, said the new law will give judges a range of sentencing options for murder convicts. He told parliamentarians that the Offences Against the Person Act, with its mandatory imposition of the penalty of death, was being changed in keeping with Barbados' obligations under the Inter-American Convention on Human Rights. No executions have been carried out in Barbados since 1984. The debate in Parliament began in the absence of the opposition, which is boycotting Parliament once Speaker Michael Carrington is in the chair. And that has not gone down well with independent MP and former Prime Minister Owen Arthur. Mr. Arthur questioned the tactics being used by his one-time colleagues in the Barbados Labour Party to force Speaker Carrington to vacate the chair in light of his legal troubles. BLP MPs want the Speaker to step aside while a parliamentary committee looks into a recent High Court decision against him. Mr. Arthur said that not participating in the people's business was not correct and was not the correct way to deal with the matter.
We all have to be so conscious of. Don't think that our citizens and their circumstances should be made the victim themselves of politicians playing with politics. And in this matter, there is a victim. There is a victim, call him Mr. Griffith is his name. Who, yes. And they think that our first efforts should be to say everything that needs to be done should be done to make sure that Mr. Griffith gets his money and that all other Barbadians in a similar position are not savaged, whether by politicians or anyone else. And I believe that both sides of the House, and more especially so, and I want this to be heard very clearly, the Bar Association that has a disciplinary committee should be saying, look, let's first of all deal with this victim, make sure this person get back their money after 15 years, and then we can play the politics. It seems to me that nobody is paying attention to the fact that there is a victim in this matter. And I have to ask, are any arrangements being made for the victim in this matter to have justice done on his behalf? You can't get justice done on the victim's behalf by myself as a politician or just walking out of the house, because he must be wondering, how is that going to help me?
Mr. Arthur also said that the debate on the mandatory death penalty for murder was an important one in which the opposition should be participating. Police are searching for a man who robbed the Blackrock branch of Scotiabank just after 10 o'clock. Eyewitnesses said the robber, who was armed with a gun and wearing a mask and gloves, asked bank customers to step back, went to the tellers and told them to put money in a bag he was carrying. The eyewitness said the man, described as very slim, then ran out of the bank. One of the bags dropped as he ran from the scene. There is no information on the amount of money stolen. Wayne Jackman was one of the customers in the bank.
Guy came in the door after the ladies were trying to get me out. And he came through the door, dropped his glove and then he had on a green mask and a mauve mask. But he looked frail and frightened like a murderer. And then he tell everybody, get back with his little gun, which I think is more. The barrel looked too small to be a real gun, but he looked more. He telling everybody, get back. Then they went to each teller. The guys are massive frail. I saw it in the
Police officers searched neighbouring districts, including Deacons, Ferniehurst and Brandons, to try to track down the robber. Prime Minister Fendel Stewart and opposition leader Mia Mottley have signed the condolence book for Sir Harcourt Lewis when it opened at Parliament Buildings. Ms. Mottley shared her memories of the late Cabinet Minister, Senator, Permanent Secretary and Credit Union stalwart.
A person who has spent a significant part of his life helping to build critical institutions in this country. And although we were on different sides, I would have served in the Senate when I started my parliamentary career with Sir Harcourt. And he was always a person who was courteous as well as willing to give advice of himself. We enjoyed a good relationship. And it is significant for me that many of the key institutions that he built, he was appointed actually by Tom Adams in order to be able to lead the Barbados National Bank as a new fledgling institution. Therein lies a tale that in this country we need to see and to move beyond partisanship in all that we do, because it will take the best of Barbados for Barbados to become the best.
Sir Harcourt passed away on January the 13th at the age of 82. He will be accorded an official funeral on Saturday at the Bethel Methodist Church. Centenarian Joseph Graves is the second inductee to the National Centennial Hall of Fame. The World War II veteran was honoured during a function at the main guard of the garrison recently. The Hall of Fame is a partnership between Desmond Weeks of DCW Promotions and Hamilton Lashley, government's advisor on social policy. Mr. Lashley said the idea was to ensure that centenarians receive more than just a visit from the Governor-General. The induction includes placing a framed portrait of the centenarian in a place of their choosing, and Mr. Graves chose the main guard. Student nurses of the Barbados Community College got a chance to practice what they've been learning on Monday as they hosted a health fair. Students and staff received free blood pressure and blood sugar tests, along with information on sexual health, healthy eating, and health insurance. President of the Barbados Student Nurses Association, Joanne Davis, said the fair was aimed at raising awareness about the group. Up next is the weekly commentary with Hayden Gill.
Cricket is dear to the hearts of many of us in the Caribbean, politicians included. To this end, CARICOM must be applauded for setting up a cricket subcommittee. It has a role to play, and its support of the regional governing cricket body can only serve to strengthen the game that supposedly unites the region. There, however, should be limits to the involvement of politicians in West Indies cricket. Over the past few years, that involvement has gone beyond what it should be. During the past 10 years, whenever there have been issues the authorities have had difficulty in resolving, Caribbean politicians have jumped in to help find a solution. This has happened far too often. Not only does it send a signal that cricket officials need to get their house in order, but more importantly, it raises eyebrows when one considers that the International Cricket Council prefers to have limited or no interference from governments in the running of the affairs of test-playing nations. It is only a matter of time before the ICC takes note of what is happening in the West Indies.
In sport, West Indies off-spinner Sunil Narayan has withdrawn from the forthcoming World Cup as he needs to spend more time remodeling his bowling action, which has been deemed as suspect. The West Indies Cricket Board said the so-called mystery spinner is not yet ready to confidently bowl for a sustained period in international cricket with his new action. A replacement will be named shortly. The Nation News cameras have been taken in the action at Mount Tabor Primary School Sports. In case you're interested, yellow were the winners, followed by red. They weren't so red hot. And defending champions blue, who brought up the rear. Our congratulations to all the participants at Mount Tabor. And finally, now it's a tough time to be a polar bear with melting ice caused by pollution, making their day-to-day lives tougher than ever. But now polar bears have been hit with another bombshell. Their penises may be about to break. Scientists fear that chemical pollutants may have an impact on reducing the density of the bear's penis bone, making it more difficult for them to mate. Polar bears are not alone, however. Scientists have previously discovered the penis bone shrinking phenomenon in otters. Oh dear, who's next? That's Nation News for Tuesday. For more, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Pick up your Midweek Nation on Wednesday or subscribe to our e-paper.